I I agree with you entirely that we need to also look at ourselves, our culture, our ways of doing things, and then we have to also um, organize our system in such a way that we can also encourage people to come and invest in our economy. So we have a lot of work to do in that regards. For example, in terms of energy consumption, somebody will have 6 cars, 7 cars parked, and so on. So in Netherlands, people are encouraged to ride bicycles. So in the morning, you see everybody, they take their bicycle, they go. So all this, one, it helps the environment in terms of pollution. Two, it's also physically, it's good. It's an exercise for the body. And three, it also gives it also allows space. Like Ambassador said, it's a small country. So citizens are encouraged to imbibe the culture of riding bicycle. But here in Nigeria, if anybody sees you riding bicycle, of course, they will just make fun of you or make jest of you that you're riding bicycle. But there, it's part of their culture. Here, we do a lot of wastages, even in terms of energy consumptions, in terms of our cultural attitudes, needless ceremonies, burial, so many things. So we have a lot, not just cutting cost of governance, we also have to cut cost of our living, because most times we spend a lot of resources on things that are not relevant. On the issue of the visit, um, because of experience in the past, I remember when we got into democracy, Obasanjo shuttled around the world, successive governments, they keep on traveling all over, and Nigerians will be asking, what are the benefits of all this junketing? In fact, I read on some papers they call it junketing, traveling up and down to me. But you see, we cannot isolate ourselves from the rest of the world. The world is a global village, and we have to also engage with the outside world. Yes, a lot of critics will say, oh, the visits are not necessary. But those of us that operate within the international system know that these visits have a lot of positive, a lot of gains for our economy. Because you cannot look at the way our dollar is falling. It's because we have not been able to attract the type of investments that we too can repatriate profit to our country. Look at South Africa is benefiting a lot. Look at ShopRite, look at NTA, look at all their companies here. Where are our companies? Where are our companies that are competing globally? Where are our companies that are leveraging, that are using opportunity? Because there's nothing stop a company in Nigeria from going to the Netherlands, invest in Netherlands, and bring the profits to us. There's nothing stopping any of us. We are complaining that we don't have jobs. But there are opportunities out there all over the globe. And I think that is what the president and the foreign policy experts of this government are thinking. It's a two-way traffic. When we talk about bilateral relations, it's a two-way traffic. Your country benefits and the other country, the two partners, will have, it's a mutual beneficial relationship. Now, on the issue of power, which Ambassador was talking about, I needed to make that point. Yes, we have power problem, but you see, the problem I have with this issue of power is, why must we have a national grid? Why must all the power generated be transferred to Osogbo, then Osogbo will start distributing? I mean, can't we have off-grid systems? For example, there's a lot of sunshine in the northern part of the country, there's wind, there are other. So everybody must not be on the national grid. That is where I disagree. States can generate their own power, just like it was done in Plateau with NETCO, where they can have their own area, generate the power, like you're saying about 12 local governments in Borno State are not on the national grid. Fine. The governor can implement solar schemes for those local governments. Everybody must not be. The problem we have in the country is that everything is centralized nationally. We should be able to devolve. I was happy recently that states are now allowed to generate electricity. In the past, it was not so. It's a very good omen. Now, states can create their own electricity companies. States can generate their own power. I hear that in Abia State now, there's almost 24 hours power supply, thanks to the geometric company that entered into partnership with the state government, and they are doing well. If that is replicated, we could solve this issue of power. And we need this type of partnership to be able to do this. There are Nigerians in the power sector, but if you look critically at the power sector privatization, a lot of us are agitating that the government should revisit the privatization because of the way and manner these things were. Well, I'm sorry to say, these things were not done as transparent as we would have wished, that Nigerians would have wished. We know that some of these gencos and were sold to companies that, to my mind, might not be as competent as we expect them to have been. Because if they are, after 8 years down the line, we should have seen the companies would have transformed the power sector. Because after, it's even worse than when power holding company was there.
So we should have seen an improvement.
Yes, we would have seen an improvement. But we are still struggling with 4,000, 5,000 megawatts. We are still struggling essentially with
about 100 million Nigerians still lacking access to electricity.